those who have joined this monthly knowledge sharing session of Heightspin, a hearty welcome. Good evening to all of you. All of you know Gandhi Garu, but I'll tell what I know from the day we started working on 35 years back from ECL. He is a product of Andhra University, MTech Physics. He came to ECL with an experience in the telecom industry, P&T. I'm right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Joined ECL in software division, grew up there for quite some time. From ECL, we moved to a place called Mainframe Computers Unit, where we have designed, developed, manufactured, and sold a lot of mainframe computers. And then from there, he moved to CMC. And he is the founder of Heightspin along with Ramanamurthy Garu. And he is certified lead author for many of the models of ISO 9001. I'll also add 42,000. And he is also lead auditor for the SSR for CMI. And as a part of the Heightspin activities, both of us did maybe few dozens or few scores, a number of programs on CMM, Six Sigma, process management, project management, and we look forward to listen to Gandhi Garu on ISO IEC 42,000-2023 EIMS. Welcome, sir. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And session, I think, is planned for 1 hour, plus minus here and there.
Yeah.
We can take questions in the beginning, in the middle, whoever wants, and put the results. We have 19 people as of today, Gandhi Garu, as of now.
Yes, sir. I think that is good enough.
Yes, sir. You can add if I miss any items in your profile.
No. You have you told me everything. You told me everything about me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Start.
So we can start now. I'll start with Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheswaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I respectfully bow my head to all my gurus, and K.S. Prakash Rao Garu is one of my gurus. I hope that I will be able to meet his expectations in today's session.
I will add one sentence, Gandhi Garu.
Please.
As we have been telling the people around, everybody is a guru of other.
Okay, I agree, but some
being a community of learning people, any individual sitting in this community is a guru of others. It is a mutual guru system.
Yes, sir. Agreed. But I thought it is my duty to respect my gurus to start with. Fortunately, everybody will have gurus in this life. To start with, mother will be a guru, then father, then some more. But I am fortunate enough to have many students, several of them, and they have reached pinnacle of their careers. They have become very successful. They had very good accolades and success to their added to their names. I will not mention all of them, but one of my earliest students is Ram Mohan P. He is my student. I was his guru way back in 1982. That is almost 42 years ago. Now, I am not saying that they have become respectable or they have become successful because of me. I am only saying that they have become successful in spite of me having their teacher. So it is not that they have become successful because of me. It is the other way around. And I keep on learning from everybody when I come into contact with them. So with that, I'll start my session. I will share my screen. And as Prakash Rao Garu said, you can stop me anytime. You can. Okay, I think you are able to see my screen, right? Let me make it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Let me make it slideshow.
Sir, your screen is not shared, sir.
Yeah. I
Gandhi,
am
sir.
coming.
Yeah.
I shared it for a while. Now I am because it is not slides. How about it now?
Yes, sir. We can see it in a presentation mode.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Now you can ask me questions anytime. Now this is the first thing. Okay, the first 10 minutes I'll be talking about ISO and AI. I am not an expert on either one of them. It is only that I am an early bird into the ISO 42001 series. My expertise in artificial intelligence is a nil. I mean, I cannot call myself as an expert. I know only a little bit. But because I have done 42001, I thought together I'll be able to talk about today to some extent. For the uninitiated, those who do not know anything about ISO or IEC, I'll spend a couple of minutes on these. ISO actually stands for International Standards Organization. It is located in Geneva, Switzerland, and IEC stands for International Techno.
Volume of city bus is bigger. To what kind of bus?
Can you please mute yourself, please? International Techno Electrical Commission.
Electrotechnical Commission, IEC.
Electrotechnical Commission, which is also in the Geneva. Thank you, sir. Now they have two types of certifications. They release standards very frequently. There are two types of standards called certification standards and guideline standards. Certification standards are examples are ISO 9001, ISO 14001, 27001, 45001. 9001 is the most popular ISO standard. It is for the quality management system, and more than 1 million organizations across the world are certified to ISO 9001. That is one of the highest. ISO 14001 is environmental standard, 27001 is security standards, ISO 45001 is health and safety standards, 42001 is 42001 is for the artificial intelligence. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Now, as a simple question, how many standards would have been released by ISO till now? Approximately. Any idea? Anybody? You can just unmute and answer. And I mean, it is not a quiz, or it is not to know whether you know it exactly. You don't have to tell me the exact numbers, but approximately. Prakash Rao garu, he will know, but others. Okay, there are about 25,000 standards that are released by ISO so far. So that is not a small number. That is, yeah, because it's correct. It is about 25,000 standards they have released so far. Because has answered it in the chat. Now, ISO 42001 is the most recent edition, which is released in 2023 December. Just for the sake of, for those people who do not know much about ISO standards, this slide talks about what it is all about. The fundamental principle of ISO standards is Plan, Do, Check, Act, the PDCA cycle. And this is for most of the ISO standards. When I say all, most of them, many of the certification standards. Because this fundamental principle, it indicates the continual improvement cycle. You plan, you do, and you perform, monitor when you are doing it, and when you are monitoring, you identify what are the issues, what are the problems, what are the areas that you did not do as per the plan, and then you improve upon them based on the plan. And to suit this, most of the certification standards will have these same sections. 4.0.
It is all, sir.
Yes, sir.
The standard template for all standards is 10 clauses, 1 to 10, what you have mentioned in the slide there.
Yes,
all
sir.
standards have
Yes.
same template. The
Yes.
contents may change. Titles
Yeah.
are same.
Exactly. So that's why I said all, because there are other guideline standards, there are many other standards. So I said all, but I also added usually. But in this 4.0, again, for the uninitiated, the 4.0 is the context of the organization. What is this organization all about? What does it do? Around that, what is its nature and scope of services, about the organization itself. 5.0 section 5 is leadership. All the ISO standards, they decide, they concentrate on the management commitment. They say that unless management is very clear about what they want to do with this model, they will not be able to perform. It is not that somebody in the organization feels that it is important, it is good, let us do it. It will not work out. That is because management needs to give them resources. Management needs to provide them with plans, with the commitment, with resources, with tools, with the necessary processes. And because of that, leadership is very important, and that is covered in 5.0 in all these standards. Now, from this onwards, from 6 onwards, we see the PDCA circle. 6.0 and 7 talk about planning. 6 is planning per se, 7 is support in terms of resources, in terms of people, in terms of tools, in terms of machinery, in terms of equipment, in terms of everything that is needed for their business model. That is support. In fact, that also I consider as a part of the planning. Then 8.0 is actually doing. It comes under the do in the perform part. Once we do, 9.0 is again performance evaluation, and 10.0 is how do we improve based on the evaluation that we did. Internal audits, they come under 9.0, continual improvement, clearing non-conformances, or doing root cause analysis and improving based on the root cause analysis. All that is part of the improvement. Okay. Now, that is all I want to talk about ISO. Unless anybody has any question at this point of time, I will continue with this part 2. That is the artificial intelligence itself. Now, as I said, I am not an expert in artificial intelligence. So whoever is an expert like JP, we have already had some 4 or 5 sessions on 3 sessions, and last year Heightspin annual meet, we also had some sessions. So there are experts, there are many good people in artificial intelligence. But just again, to give a very brief idea about what artificial intelligence is, artificial intelligence has 2 types, generative or Gen AI or discriminative. Now, just to give you a basic idea, not to get into the details. Train a model by showing thousands of pictures of several types of element. We take one model, we supply that with lot of elephants, figures from various countries, from various small size, big size, long tusk, small, all of them. Then Gen AI can create a new drawing of an elephant, assuming that it has the capability to draw. If we ask that, after studying all these elephants, you ask the artificial intelligence to create a new elephant, which is white in color, short tusk, long tail. You define what you want to, and it will draw that picture. On the other hand, discriminative AI can differentiate based on all these thousands of diagrams, thousands of pictures of elephants. Discriminative AI can differentiate between an elephant and other four-legged animals. You show that, you give an elephant diagram, it will say, yes, it is an elephant. You give it a lion's diagram, it says, no, it is not an elephant. It will not say it is a lion. I'm talking about the basic model. I'm not going into the details of the artificial intelligence per se. There may be more learned models. We'll come to that. Now, larger the number of pictures, which is called the training data, these thousands of pictures of elephants that we are giving, it is called the training data. If we have more and more training data, the accuracy will be more and more. Now, once I say this to when I am talking it, when I am explaining it to somebody, then that somebody said, "Oh, is it so? My 3-year son can do it. My 3-year son can." Once he has seen some, you will see that example with say, many people. A small girl, you show a national flag, and that girl will immediately say it is Italy flag, it is American flag. That is only a 3-year girl. Similarly, this model is almost doing something that a 3-year model girl can do. Or now let us slightly increase the capability. Or we question the model. Somebody more intelligent than 3-year girl or boy, he may say, what? White in color? No, 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 no. Elephants cannot be white in color. He may say that, right? Now that is where the actual problem is. Now, we do not really know whether people can, in my case, I may say that there could be elephants which are white in color. Somebody else may say that only Indra's elephant is Airavatam, and that only is white in color. Nobody else or no other elephant is white in color. Now you ask Copilot or ChatGPT, it will tell you there are some white elephants. Again, white elephants are not referred as world public sector undertakings which are bleeding. This white elephant we are talking about is color. ChatGPT tells you that there are some 5, 6, or 10 maybe white elephants in Thailand. And Thailand's king, he keeps these white elephants as very in a sacred place. But they are not actually white. They are slightly some gray color. If you see him, so once the intelligence increases, we don't know whether it is right or wrong. Now, if you ask the same question, a model that you have created tomorrow, and if you ask to create a white elephant, it may say, sorry, there are no white elephants. Or it may create a white elephant. Or it may create a blue elephant, it may create a green elephant, it may create an elephant in any color. Today, I don't really know what that will generate. It depends on the particular model, how it is designed, what kinds of input that it has given. This is a very important aspect which we'll come back again when we come to the when we come later into this. Understood? Any questions so far? Okay, right. Now we'll go to the next one. Now I started this, or rather a few minutes ago, I said ISO 9001 is the most recognized standard worldwide. There are more than 1 million organizations certified under ISO 9001 so far in the world. And ISO 9001 is actually about improving the quality. By continually monitoring what we did, what are the problems that we are facing in the way that we are performing, where the problems are, what are the root causes for those problems, and how do we improve. Now, once that is the case, now the question is why artificial intelligence cannot follow the 9001 model. Artificial intelligence, after all, is a software or is a hardware or is a combination of both. It is a software when you are talking about ChatGPT. It's a hardware when we see some robots doing something which are uh, reacting to, which are controlled by wires, which are reacting to what you are saying, which are reacting to your commands. They're hardware. Or maybe they are combination of hardware and software. Similarly, it is a product or it is a service. It's a service when it is something like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, whatever. Or it is a product when you use that as, how do you decipher? There are so many, in fact, there are Zoom assistants, they are products. You can also have somebody else along with you who will monitor the meeting. They will take notes, and at the end of the meeting, they will present very systematically that Gandhi has said this, K.S. Prakash Rao Garu said this, somebody else asked the question. They will give you minutes of the meeting without you worrying or keeping track of who is doing what. So that's a product. There are several of such associated tools today who are participating in the Zoom meetings. When I saw somebody like that first time, I was worried. I'm surprised. What is this? There should be only 3, but I'm seeing 4. Then that person has explained. This is many of them. I don't want to name them. But now coming back to the differences, why this kind of 9001, which is accepted by millions, why it is not suitable for AI? Or why they released a new standard called artificial intelligence management system standard. We just have a table of contents here, which, I wanted to compare this with the table of contents of 42001, and that's why I am showing it here. Towards the end of this session, or rather middle, somewhere after another 15-20 minutes, I will show you that table of content also. But here we see 8.1 is operational planning and control. 8.2, requirements for product or services. What is it that you want to do with this product? Or what are the requirements that it meets? Because as per the ISO, the definition of quality itself is meeting the requirements, meeting the explicit stated requirements, meeting the implicit requirements, meeting the legal and regulatory requirements. When you are meeting all of them, you have quality. So that is important for 8.2. And you take on all the requirements for this product or a service, and which is required for even AI. Then 8.3 talks about design and development of products and services. How do you do your design? How you do your development? How do you code? How do you test? In case of software, you code, you test. In case of hardware, in case of a soap manufacturing, there is still one design and it is repeated multiple times to produce the product. That is your actual development or operations. Then 8.4 is control of externally provided processes, products, and services. As a part of this work that you are doing, there are certain things which are input to you. They are coming from outsiders. Those can be processes, those can be products, or those can even be services. How do you control them? How do you make sure that they, in spite of them or because of them, you are getting the right quality for your product? And then 8.5 is production and service provision. 8.6 is release of products and services. 8.7 is control of non-conforming product. Once you complete the production, if there is something which is not meeting the requirements, then what do you do? What do you do with that? Do you discard it? Do you repair it? Do you rework on that? Whatever. So it depends on each one of the specific industry types. This section is what mostly differs between all these certification standards, because they will have different ways. Now, this is where I'm going to digress. I'm not going into artificial intelligence. I am not going into 9001 or 42001. I'm just showing you 3-4 slides. These are all very, very recent. And you may be surprised why I'm showing it, but I will connect them. Here, we are seeing graph, a trend chart of 3 of them. One is in blue color, one is in violet, one is in yellow. The blue color one, which is starting at the very lowest bottom on the left side. And when it came to the right side, it almost met these top 2. These are 3 different companies, and these are trend lines are value of the company. It is actually market capitalization. Market capitalization is almost synonymous to the value of the company. These are 3 companies are Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. NVIDIA, in 1 year, as you can see in this, in 1 year, it has grown by 151%. Apple is in #1 position for the last several years, right from 2008 or 2007, when they have introduced iPhone. Before that, they were way back, but then they came forward and they were in the top contenders. Apple and Microsoft, and sometimes Amazon was competing with them. Those 3 used to be in the top 3 slots, and suddenly NVIDIA has come #1 somewhere here. But anyway, it is today almost very near to the top 3. Now, this diagram here, it is talking about the same market capitalization, not only the top 3, but also another 4. Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Alphabet, which is Google, Amazon, and Meta. Meta is the Facebook and WhatsApp and these are the ones. If you are not able to see, you must excuse me, because I have taken a screenshot only just yesterday. But what this shows is NVIDIA has grown 500% in 3 years. Before 3 years, NVIDIA people know only as a graphic processor, and these graphic processors are used for game machines where they use gamings, where they use very intensive image processing or that kind of things. And in 3 years, it has grown 5 times, and it went above Google, it went above Amazon, it went above Meta. Now, this is another statement. All these are in the last few days or few weeks that are said. I will connect all of them. Just give me few more minutes. Now, this is March 1st, 2024. It is again from a news publication, and it says Elon Musk said AI will run out of electricity and transformers in 2025. Please see the date. It is not April 1st. It is not making us April Fools. It is March 1st, and he genuinely said that. What he says, there will be no electricity for AI to run, AI to use computers by 2025, which is only 1 year away. Now, this is July 9th, 2024, hardly 1 month back news item. I think the second part is in Chinese or Japanese or something, but the heading is good enough. The first robo suicide just happened. It is dated July 9th, 2024. Now, this is another one. This is, I cannot give the article completely because of confidentiality and the other kinds of these. Most of the medical journals, they will be giving the complete information only for the subscribers, but the statement is good enough for us to see. It says ECG based AI could reduce hospital mortality. You all know ECG, and what this these people, they did experiment with thousands of people, and what they did is, in the ECG machine, they have installed AI. And when it finds out an abnormal an abnormal ECG, it sends a signal. It gives a red light. It sends a signal to the cardiologist. It sends a message, and it immediately alerts them so that they quickly know, even before the, because most of the times the ECGs are seen, are done by the technicians. They may not be in a position to identify if there is a very severe abnormality. So they did this experiment, and they published this in the one of the medical journals in May 21st, 2024. Now, this is only day before yesterday. Anti-India fake news floods social media in Bangladesh. You all know about the Sheikh Hasina, the Bangladesh troubles and all that. That happened 3 days ago. And next day, this is the news item that I could capture somewhere. It says, anti-India fake news is flooding social media in Bangladesh. Now, wherever there is lot of fake news, wherever there are millions and thousands of posts, take it from me, it is AI. It is not people who are behind that. The AI can do that kind of thing. So, before explaining all these further, now I will tell you some speciality of ISO 42001-2023. Before combining with all those three, all the previous diagrams that we saw, one of the most important peculiarities of ISO 42001 is this standard is applicable for user organizations, that is, somebody who is using AI, provider organizations, which is somebody who is giving AI as a service. They take somebody's AI, which is a model, it can be LLM, Llama 3, whatever. They pack it with their own software and they are giving it to the end users. And the third one is who is actually developing AI itself. Okay. Now, this will give us some insights into why do we need a separate standard for 42,000. In the last 3-4 slides, barring NVIDIA, we saw a robo doing suicide, performing suicide. Then fake news flooding Bangladesh. Then a ECG AI is going to save lives. If any one of them is going bad, if any one of them is going rogue, who is responsible? Is it the user organization? Like, let us say, take the case of the robo. Somebody bought that robo with software, hardware combined, and they have kept it. 1 minute, please. Now I am seeing full screen of my screen, the PowerPoint slideshow. I am not seeing the people or the charts. And in case anybody has any questions, anybody wants to stop me, you can feel free. You can unmute yourself, ask me a question. I will stop and I will try to answer that. So I am not seeing the charts, or I am not seeing the hands if there are any signals. because of the way it is configured. Okay. Am I clear? Right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you. I'll go back to the screen sharing again. Okay, are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yeah, thank you. So this is the difference. Now, I'm talking about that robo. Somebody has supplied the robo and it is doing a handshaking with whoever is coming. They say, "Good morning, robo, how are you today?" I'm talking about a very small, simple application. That robo understands the English and whatever language they are taking, assume that it has Google Translator installed inside, and somebody comes and tells that robo in French, "Good morning, robo, how are you doing today?" It says, "Good morning, Jackie, I'm doing good. How about you?" And that boy or that gentleman offers a hand. This robo gives his hand and he says, "Shake hand, come on, doing good." And if that other gentleman gives both the hands, then this robo, let's say, assume that it takes his hand in both places, both hands of the robo itself, and presses it. Now, for a while, assume that boy is only 3 feet high. He is 5 years old. He comes near the robo and he says, "Good morning, robo. Give me shake hand." And robo puts both hands near his neck and presses it. Unfortunately, now who is responsible for that? Is it the user organization? Is it the provider organization? Or is it the developer who did the AI in the first place? Now, we did not have this kind of a problem in other quality ISO 9001 certified industries. Let us assume that somebody let us take the case of a restaurant. They are ISO certified. They are doing excellent dosas or biryani, paradise biryani. They are ISO certified. Then let us take somebody like a Swiggy. They are also ISO certified. And then let us take somebody else who is the roadside person who gets through Swiggy and he brings it, or let us say he is serving it in his own restaurant. There is a small restaurant, he does not cook anything. Anybody orders, he will give them some time. He orders from Paradise Biryani using Swiggy and he serves it in his hotel. I'm not saying this model is workable, but assume for a while. Paradise is ISO certified. They are doing quality manufacturing of biryani. Swiggy is quality certified. Their responsibility start with picking up the package, taking it all the way, and dropping at the restaurant where you are eating it. The third person is the restaurant. Their responsibility is to unpack, give you a hygienic place, give you good bottled mineral water, give you ambience, and serve the food. Each one of them are doing their jobs, and nobody is great crashing into the other's responsibility. We know who is doing what. Now, for a moment, take the same thing here for this robo doing something wrong. Now, for the end user, the mall which has kept the robo there is responsible, certainly. But somebody who can go slightly forward, he can say, whoever has supplied this robo, he is at fault. And the third person says, or the supplier, or even the more intelligent people will say, it is not the supplier, it is actually the model itself. It is not getting trained repeatedly. It has to train itself when it is doing more and more. When a boy comes, it should know the boy is not of so much height. It either should tell that no, sorry, I cannot give you shake hand, or it should bend. It should do something. It is not doing it. Then we are not able to fix the responsibility. This is the major difference. The major difference for ISO 9001 is what you are doing is a quality product, is a quality service. But it is not really looking at this. What is the unintended usage? ISO 9001 is talking about the intended usage of the product, intended usage of the service. There may be some exceptions, and those exceptions are caught by continual improvement. You have your non-conforming products or non-conforming services, and that is where you are saying, no, this cannot go. You will stop it there. Because ISO 9001 is applied in the gas cylinders, electrical appliances, gas stoves, or helmets, wherever it is life-saving, it is applied and they are very, very well handling it. If there is any unintended use, they are not responsible. But in case of AI, as we can see, there is so much of unintended use. The Bangladesh fake news is unintended use. You don't know. You did not expect that to happen. How do you control? Then we have something like ethical and responsible use. How do you do the ethical use of AI? And this is for all the three. For the developers, even at that time, who is manufacturing the AI or developing the AI or producing the AI, you can use whatever term you want. How do they make sure that it is used for ethical and responsible use? I don't know. Because once it is an atom bomb, it goes out to the end user. What they do, I don't know. Now, before I even go into these, the underlying trustworthiness, etc., let me connect back, because I talked about only the three slides or three diagrams. One is the ECG. Now consider that somebody has installed the ECG and they are very dependent on the output given by the ECG machine because it is AI controlled. And once the machine says that there is no problem, your heart is good, then that gentleman goes home very happily, comfortably, without any problem, and he dies in half an hour because there is a problem with the AI. Now, who is to be blamed? It is possible, it can happen. Then who is responsible for that? Similarly, we talked about the robo suicide. We talked about the fake news spread in Bangladesh. But there are two more slides I have shown about the NVIDIA. Now, the people who are not very introduced to AI, it may surprise them to see that for each question that you are asking ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or Llama 3, or Llama 2, 3, Llama 3 has actually three models, 7 billion, 13 billion, 110 billion, whatever. I tell you what they are. I mean, most of the AI folks, they know so much about them, and I don't know so much about what they know. My knowledge is very limited. It is only that they have access to millions and billions of data items. And you ask a question, it will go and search and find out and make a very, very good deduction using all the data that it is at their disposal. While doing that, it will burn so much of energy. Normally, the chat GPT question that we are getting an answer today in few seconds, if you run it the same query with the same Llama 3 LLM on your desktop machine without GPU, it will take 15 minutes. You will not know what is happening in the system. You will be surprised and you will scratch your head and finally you say, oh, this model is not working. But this is working in the background. So many of them today are like that. There may be very few trivial things where you don't need lot of computing power for AI. But most of them, you need GPUs and GPUs and GPUs. For a very simple application that a company did that I am associated with, they did one query, or it is called prompt engineering. I will not get into the prompt engineering, but one prompt, when it is asked on the desktop, it took 15 minutes. And when it is asked on a 64 CPU, 4 GPU machine, it took 15 seconds. And those GPUs are manufactured by NVIDIA. And today, you go to a Reliance digital store, they will tell you this Dell laptop has no GPU, sir. It comes only for 35,000, but if you do, you will not get any AI. This is AI enabled. It comes with 1 GPU minimum, and then it is 60,000 or 1 lakh or whatever. So that is why in the last 3 years, NVIDIA has become a household name. That is why NVIDIA has grown 5 times from 2021 to 2024, exactly from last September 2021. That statistics I took is for 3 years. And they are all available for you in the web. And that's why I took screenshots for them. I did not prepare the slide for them. And that's why on one side, it shows how much people are going towards artificial intelligence and how much energy it is going to consume. For each question that you ask ChatGPT, believe me, one forest is burnt away. And this is why Elon Musk said, probably you are aware that Elon Musk also has interest in AI. He has an AI company. Enough of that. He said that by 2025, AI will not have enough electricity or transformers. The way AI has grown in the last 3 years, now we need so many most powerful machines. And for those powerful machines, we need more powerful electricity, more powerful batteries, more, everything more. And you know what? All this we use to get not more than 75% accuracy. You'll have to take it with a pinch of salt. Most of the applications that we are running in today's world, anybody getting 75 to 80% accuracy with AI is considered to be the best. Most of the applications even today are getting AI applications are getting only 50 to 60% accuracy. Not above 80%, it is wonderful. It is best. And that is why many medical, this AI in ECGs is an experimental research paper. I don't know whether it will be allowed by the Medical Council of India, Medical Council of America, or HIPAA, or other things. Will they allow or not is a big question. So many of them today do not agree because they don't know what will happen. Is it really the way that it is expected to work? That is what we are seeing in this diagram. This AI is questioning, is the model that you are using, is the software that you have developed, are using, are providing any one of those 3 roles, is it trustworthy? If yes, to what extent? 80%, 90%? Tell me that. Without that, how do I take a decision? then is it accountable? Do you take responsibility for something going wrong? For the robo killing a boy, or for the fake news spreading, having the fake videos, the fake, I will not talk so much about the misuses of the AI, you all know. We all know the WhatsApp university, the fake news. We all know that Rahul Gandhi, some video comes and we all believe it, or there will be another video that Modi shows Modi and we all believe it, and 90% of them could be fake. Who is accountable for that? Then explainability, very important. Once a AI decision comes out of the system, can you explain this is how it has come? In case of normal software that we develop, in a banking software where I was part of a centralized banking system, if one transaction goes out or is done wrongly in 1 million transactions every day, more than 1 million in some cases, if they ask me, can you explain how it happened? I have logs. I have test cases. I can go back. I will see. I means whoever has developed it. They know. They can explain finally how it has happened. In case of AI today, unfortunately, it is not so easy because it is learning by itself. And how it is learning, I don't know. Like the white elephant. If I have shown the model only gray, black, and brown elephants, it may tell me that white elephants are not there. Or if in the model I will not concentrate about the elephant color at all, I'm only talking about the shape, I'm only talking about the other nuances of the elephant, then it may say there are no white. There are white elephants, there are green elephants, there are yellow elephants. It can say anything. I don't know. And if it learns by its own, then it becomes so much more to explain a specific action that is done by AI. Fairness and non-discrimination. I give a lot of data, test data to AI. And unfortunately, if we take all the American population and give the data, everything is white. Females, men, most of them are whites. Some of them are even blacks. But there are no browns. If all the data that it takes are only of those two colors, then if I ask them, Manu Bakar, can she win a medal in Olympics? Then the entire data that it has, it does not contain any brown skin. It says impossible. Manu Bakar will not go there. So the entire intelligence that it has gained, it has really become artificial. Now that is okay. But if it is discriminating based on the color, based on the religion, based on the region, based on the creed, then it is very serious. Can we ensure that your artificial intelligence system does not do it? Transparency. Can you show me what is your model? Today, all the artificial intelligence models are in the black box. Nobody wants to share that model simply because, when I say that, I know that Llama 3 or ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot, they're all open. They're all transparent. They tell us what they're doing. But when you go to the priced model, subscription models, and you ask really complicated questions, it will not tell you how it has reduced it. There cannot be enough transparency because of the trade secrets and privacy. When you give lot of data to it, how do you know that it keeps it private? How do you know that the data that is supplied to by system or artificial intelligence, it can keep private? Because it has to learn. It has to use my characteristics and it has to come out with a decision. It has to come out with an inference. How does it do? and what is the security and safety. Now, some of these are actually covered in the 9001 with due regards, non-functional uses, but there is not so much of emphasis on these, on the unintended usage or on the ethical and responsible usage of the artificial, that we have it on the artificial intelligence. I'll stop for a while. If there are any questions, please unmute yourself and ask me. Actually, the way it is going, I'm sorry, I said I will be able to complete in one hour, but like my Six Sigma classes, it is going beyond that, and probably it will take another 30-40 hours. And when you feel that it is too much, we'll stop. Okay?
So, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Gandhiji.
Yeah.
This is Partha.
Please tell me, ask me.
So, the point, what I just wanted to share, maybe, AI, as we all know, right, it is in naive or maybe evolution stage, right?
Correct.
It is progressing rapidly.
Yes.
But the point is, it is still in naive stage.
Agree.
So, it all, like, I feel that, currently, when we look at AI, maybe, with this standard, with so much of matured standard like ISO 9001, it might be like, my opinion, I'm saying, I'm sorry to say,
go ahead.
that it's like, blind men assessing an elephant. So that is where, I feel that, most of us actually are in this stage because we are all trying to understand what exactly the AI is all about and how this standard is going to be helpful when, that gets converted or, coming under the perspective of a management system model.
Correct.
So that is where, I feel that. And then, you talked about safety, security, privacy. Even today, matured applications, right, matured technologies, right, we claim that, so much of quality, all those things, but still, these are not assured. When we say that, safety, security, or privacy, because lacunas are always there, and we try to learn from our mistakes and do all those things. So that way, I feel confident. Maybe futuristic, the AI also will address that.
Correct.
So currently, maybe we may have some apprehensions, is what my humble view.
Yeah.
Because adoption is a challenge, as you know that, like when computers were introduced, the banking industry was dead against that, right? Then Y2K problem, we had hell broke. But today we talk about, even I don't need a laptop. I'm having a mobile, I'm able to deliver so much of work, officially, personally, all those things. So technology has given the benefits as well as it has opened up the risks also.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. You are
so
right.
That is the point, I just wanted to maybe, highlight it here from my side.
Yeah.
And but really, whatever you are actually, sharing, I think, those are actually, inspiring ones, definitely, thought to start looking at it.
Thank you. Now, the point before we started, I think Ram Mohan or somebody asked me, before everybody has come onto the board, why is it required? Or how these are going to help the evolution of the AI? You have made the right point here when you asked me, when you conveyed your comments. You are exactly right. Now, that is the reason we want a standard. We want to introduce something that buyers beware. This are the manufacturers beware. You are doing something, you are giving a tennis ball. This is to be used as a tennis ball only. This cannot be taken to be used as something else. Or you are using a bomb. It comes with all those restrictions. It is handled safely. It is used in the safe environment. And 42001 is for that actually. Okay. Now you're absolutely right. And that is why before any harm is done, ISO wanted to have some systems in place, have some standards in place. In fact, when I went to this, I started learning so much that ISO 42001 is not just released like that in 2023 December. Before that, so much of work has been done for 3 years. We will see so many more models. I mean, unless people drop off, I will continue up to probably 6 o'clock. And then we will also see what are all the other associated things that ISO has done. I'm so very surprised to see that they have put lot of energies in streamlining this AI into a very reasonable way, a responsible way in which people use it. I know there are caveats. When I am going to use AI, I know I am responsible for its use. I know what it can do. I know that there are so many other things that it cannot do. And I am keeping that in mind. That is the responsibility that is required. Once we come to the section 8 of AI in this ISO 42001 standard, you all will be surprised. What is this? It is not talking about how to develop AI, how to develop this, how to make, how to design, how to that. Okay. Now, there is one standard called ISO 24368-2022. It is about the ethical and responsible use of the AI. And ISO 42001 stresses the need of that. Whenever you use AI, it may create good. There are areas of concern also. It may create harm also. It may create financial harm. It may create psychological harm. Let's say you have put AI in an investigation system, and based on the modus operandi, based on many other things, it finally says Modusinu is the culprit. I am taking a name who is already dead, and he says, this is the guy who did this. Now, that person, he will go through a lot of psychological impact because he has been identified as the troublemaker by AI, but in fact, in reality, he is a very innocent guy. Now, you may ask me, even the human intelligence also can do the same mistake. But in that case, to err is human. And we take action on that individual. Is he doing it deliberately, intentionally? Is he corrupt? We can have departmental inquiry. We'll do so many things. But on computers, we are relying more and more. As you know, every day when billions of transactions are happening using your digital UPI, I will not check my UPI statement to see whether the 15 rupees I paid to the tea vendor, has I really paid on that day at that point of time. Instead of paying tea person twice, it has taken 3 times. I don't even know, I don't even recognize, I am not so much bothered. It may be only a financial harm of 15 rupees for me. But if it is something more than that, how do we make sure that it is correct? Because it is AI. Harm to physical health and safety. We saw some examples. Intangible property, IP, which is the intellectual property. Unintentionally, AI takes away the intellectual property rights and it starts displaying in public. Or it creates reverse. It is damaging to somebody's reputation. Social or political systems. In Bangladesh, we are seeing it. And we heard rumors that several attempts are made in Indian electoral, in American electoral, when in various other countries, particularly in African countries, they are using AI and social platforms to change politics. I'm not saying whether they did it actually or not. We heard that, and as I heard, I'm quoting it. But if it really happens, who is responsible? Civil liberties, unjustified imprisonment, or censorship. These I have added only yesterday after seeing the Bangladesh rights. Because of this, I mean, you might have all seen that there is a request to Indian government that Sheikh Hasina is to be handed over to them so that they conduct a trial on that if she is kept in prison. Is it justified? Unjustified? I mean, I am not, probably we are not the ones to debate on that. But if AI is responsible for that, who will take responsibility? Or how do you make sure that those things are addressed? As this gentleman Partha has pointed out a few minutes ago, it is impossible to say today, but it is still evolving. At this point of time, can we have controls all around? Can we at least look at those aspects of the system? Now, we also talked about development and UI. Development and UI use of AI is possible with only data and data and data. I also said that it will take 15 minutes for me if I do a prompt on my machine. It is because it has to go through billion documents. For the question that you are asking in ChatGPT today, it may verify billions of documents, millions and millions. And all that is the data that model has. That is how the artificial intelligence training is happening. And there is so much of importance for that data. All this is to be taken care of. So you should be the artificial intelligence system people, whether they are users or providers or the developers, they should be aware how is your data collected, how is the data prepared. Now listen, believe me, if I give 1 million statements that always sun rises in the west, and I make 1 million statements and spread them throughout the internet, and I have a learning model which uses this as a training data, it tells me that sun rises in the west. It does not know because it is dependent on the data that it is using. How are you using your data? How are you preparing the data? Are you monitoring that? Is the data that you are using is traceable for whatever AI that you are using for your own application? And is the data really protected? Because if it is not protected, somebody else may contaminate it. What is the quality of this data? Now, I know that already I have taken 75 minutes of time. So I will try to complete in another 10-15 minutes. If somebody is saying quality of input is the quality of output, we normally refer it to the GIGO. Now, yes, you are right. But in case of ISO 9001, we have some methods of taking care of it. In artificial intelligence, which the model or the provider, what data they are taking, I don't know as an end user. If they are taking the data of all Africans, then they may say that people are 99% people are black. They will have this kind of color hair, and it is then different. Then the quality may be good for them. It is not good for me. You understand the point? It is not GIGO. It is applicable for that context. Data bias and data poisoning. That is called data bias. That data which is talking about the Africans' data is biased towards Africans. If it says, because all the events running, middle distance, long distance, everybody who won is from Kenya or from Zambia, or then he says in other countries people cannot run fast. That is all. Then it is biased data. Or somebody may poison the data. Deliberately, they may give the wrong data for their own standard. For how are you taking care of it? This is a different ISO standard. The previous standard that we saw is trustworthiness of the AI. That is a different standard. This is a different standard called 24,028, and this is the technical report is given in 2020 itself. This trustworthiness, this standard is talking about the quality of data, data bias or poisoning, and it also talks about model stealing. This is, I'll spend 1 minute on that. I know my time is, but anyway, those people who have other engagements, I'm sorry that I'm taking more time, but if you can drop, if you need to drop out, it is okay, because we are recording that and you may get back anytime. But if you have questions, you can always ask me. Model stealing is something which I take ChatGPT, I ask 100 questions with slight variances. I get the results. And I use these results to reverse engineer the model, and I generate that model. You get my point? I am stealing the model that somebody has created. It is their copyright. It is their own thinking capability and all that. And they have protected. And I take a subscription. I talk 1,000 questions, and based on the prompts, the way it is responding, I'm talking about generative AI, not the discriminative AI. I mean, everywhere the data quality is equally important, but I try to steal the model and I start using it for wrong things. How do you prevent it? And if you don't prevent it, then your trustworthiness is questioned. Then there are so many other applicable ISO standards that have come out in the last 3-4 years. This is mind-boggling. The amount of work that they did before releasing 42001 in last December, you can see this. I'm just reading them. I'm not explaining each one of them. They are all available, and some of them are priced, and you have access in the ISO website. ISO, IEC.
One basic question. Gandhi
Please.
sir.
Yeah.
One basic question. It might be very basic. Sorry if I'm asking that. So all these standards are now part of this ISO 42001 2023?
Absolutely not.
They are still?
Absolutely
Okay.
not. They are only guidelines. They are only for people to understand what is it. And when we come to last part of the session, I will read out the ISO 42001 correctness. But as the gentleman who had asked a few minutes ago, when so much is unknown about the AI, how do I control my AI application? There are so many guidelines. If you really want to get into this and understand how it is, you can look at these standards and use them to improve your performance, to make your AI trustworthy. Is that clear? When you are certifying for ISO 42001 standard, you will not be referring to any one of these, or these standards are not referred to in your certificate, but you can use them as the guidelines. Okay, 24,028 Information Technology Artificial Intelligence Overview of Trustworthiness. We saw this slide just before. TR 24,030 Information Technology Artificial Intelligence Use Cases. It is being upgraded now. There are 132 use case templates in this. I thought all imaginable use cases templates are put there. But somebody told me you will have to add 0 at the end. There can be 1,300 use cases. I can myself see there are so many use cases which are not covered in that 132. Then there is another, TR stands for Technical Report, 27,563. It is Security and Privacy in Artificial Intelligence Use Cases, Best Practices. It is released in 2023. Then another Artificial Intelligence Framework for Artificial Intelligence System using Machine Learning. Your Artificial Intelligence Lifecycle Model, is it same as SDLC? No. It has similarities. It has similarities with software development lifecycle model, but it has differences also. What are those? How can you define your own artificial intelligence lifecycle model, without which you cannot even go forward? That is it is declared in 2022. Then we have another report, technical report released in 2020, Software and Systems Engineering for Software Testing, Guidelines for Testing AI-based Systems. Then there are many more. I'll just read them out. I am not going to explain each one. 22,989, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence Concepts and Terminology. 2021, 24,029, Artificial Intelligence AI Assessment of Robustness of Neural Networks. 24,368, released in 2022, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence Overview of Ethical and Societal Concerns. 24,372, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, AI Overview of Computational Approaches for AI Systems. 24,668, 2022, Artificial Intelligence Process Management Framework for Big Data Analytics. Then Information Technology Governance of IT Governance Implications for the use of, if you are using it for governance, artificial intelligence of an organization, of a country, of something, what are the things that you need to learn about or to be careful about? That is released in 2022. 24,027, released in 2021, IT for Artificial Intelligence Bias in AI Systems and AI Aided Decision Making. 24,668, Artificial Intelligence Process Management Framework for Big Data Analytics. 38,507, IT Governance Implications. I think this is the same one. Sorry, there is a repeat here. So that, I mean, I have just shown them to show you, to tell you, lot of work has been done by ISO committees on artificial intelligence to concentrate, to decide, to declare guidelines, to give technical reports on what are all the corresponding associated subsidiary areas before releasing the standard for the 42,001 itself. Now, if you see the 8.0, which is the operations part of artificial intelligence, which is the crux, which is the most important thing for any one of the PDCA models, that is the do part. Plan, check, act. In the PDCA circle, they refer to 5, 6 sections. I mean, 6 and 7 sections, 9 and 10 sections. But 8 is this core. And that core here, as you see, operational planning and control of what you want to do with your artificial intelligence. As a service provider, as a user, you plan for that, you control it. Simple, that there ends the matter. But the other 3 are very loaded things. What is AI risk assessment? How are you assessing the risks? Risks associated with trustworthiness, risks associated with the quality of your data, risks associated with the transparency, risks associated with the learning and relearning, and the model itself is improving itself. Is there a risk? How do you assess it? It is up to you. As you know, it is not a prescriptive model. It is a suggestive model. All models are like that. It will not prescribe you that you must do a function point analysis for counting your size. It is up to you what is best suited for you. Here also it is like that. What is best suited for you? If your risk is my model is only 70% accurate, are you giving update? Are you mentioning to your customers that this model is only 70% accurate? You be beware that when you are using this, it is 70% accurate. Or how are you learning again and again? Where are you finding that? If you see your AI, ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, it will ask you, and at the end of the question, answer. Are you okay with it? Do you think it is right? Will it meet your requirement? Am I able to answer your question correctly? And that is used to relearning. That is used to give the feedback or propagating it back to the model and improving the model. How are you doing it? As an individual AI provider, are you doing it? And Once you do the risk assessment, how are you doing the risk treatment? You know there are risks. Do you have a risk treatment plan? And finally, the AI system impact assessment. Now you see there is nothing like coding, design, development, whether you follow Agile, Scrum model, SDLC model, Waterfall model, you follow whatever you want. But the whole section 8, what you are doing, it is saying, talk about risks, do risk management, do risk treatment, do impact assessment, and then you declare. How do you do all of them? Now, I'll talk about the certification or those before this. Performance evaluation. 9.0 is about performance evaluation. These subsections are same as any other model like 9001 for 27,001 or others. Monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. 9.2 is internal audit. 9.3 is management review. 10 is improvement, continual improvement, non-conformity, and corrective actions. Now, before even closing, stop sharing, or I can stop sharing here. There are so many in the chart. Quality of input is quality of output. GIGO, similar to others except system impact assessment. Okay. Now, some of one thing somebody asked me even before I started the session. Now that you are a certified lead auditor, can you do an audit for us and can you certify that we are yes or no? There are actually 3 different parts for any certification. One is a certified lead auditor like myself, like others. Second one is a certification body like DNV, like TUV, and like BIS. Most of these, whatever that most of you are aware of, certification body, and above them, the IRQA. They will have to tell you, now these 3, out of these, 3 is being prepared. ISO 42001 is released. ISO 42001 is made into, 1 minute please. Can you provide subclasses in class 4 and 6? Yes, sir. I will add it as a slide. Where do I share it? I can share it now itself, but it is already 1.5 hours. So I don't know. But if it is only your requirement, I will send it to you, sir. But before that, the certification is not yet formalized. People are coming up with various models of doing the certifications. Now, I was told actually that certification bodies, I was told within quotes, by a responsible person, that certification body can itself do the audit using people like me, like others who underwent certification like me. And they can give a certificate with their logo and they can say that, yes, we have used certified lead auditors. We know what it is all about. And our organization as a certification body is responsible in giving it. But we are not saying that it is certified by the IRQA. So that is where today it is. But very soon, I am of the opinion that it will be under the purview of IRQA also. Now, I know that we have overshoot the time, but if there are questions, I will be gladly answering it. For me, it is not end of time. I can take another up to half an hour if people are interested. One minute, please. In the chart, there is a question: how much relevant is this for companies which does not develop or provide but use some tools like ChatGPT, Gemini for improving productivity? Now, that is where the whole thing is. That is what the clause 8.1 is saying. Do the risk assessment, do the risk treatment plan, do the risk impactment analysis, and are you using it as a part of your products? Or though you are improving your productivity, are you using wrong prompts or incorrect information to improve it? I don't know. So the essence is risk assessment, risk treatment, and impact analysis. Then it is relevant.
Gandhi garu, as an extension to the question asked by Mr. Babaji,
Yeah.
So when we get a product or a service certified or maybe by the help of an auditor,
Yeah.
does it provide a kind of an assessment based upon the standards defined from a provider or a development perspective or a user perspective as well? I mean, because more or less, I think the question asked by Baba also is something that it's ringing in my mind. I mean, does it provide a holistic 360-degree view into a product or a service? So that all the people who are involved into either manufacturing or developing or using will be held equally responsible and accountable, as was mentioned earlier in some of the clauses also, to ensure the safety, privacy, trustworthiness, and all that stuff, in fact.
Murali, thank you. Now, it is a very important question. I mean, Jaidi is ready to answer, but before that, 1 minute, Jaidi, sir. 1 minute.
Please, sir.
One can easily get away with this by a disclaimer clause. Okay. A disclaimer, they say that we are getting this from so and so. This answer is based on ChatGPT. So if anything, it is because of them. I don't know, because the standards, it only says to what extent you become trustworthy to your client. Jaidi sir, please, you are a very seasoned auditor. You have participated in more than 100 audits. We want to listen from you.
Thank you, Gandhi Garu, for introducing me. Just to answer the question, yes, when as Mr. Gandhi has mentioned in his initial slides, that there are different roles what a company plays. He can be a user, he can be a developer, or I mean the organization. The organization can be a user, the organization can be a developer, or can be a provider. Now, when the organization is going for ISO 42000 certification, under user role, so the scope will be restricted to that particular organization as a user only. At that moment, as a certification body, as a lead auditors, we won't be going into the other roles of development of that particular product or into the provider role. So we will be restricting ourselves to user. We'll not be covering the complete holistic overview of developer, provider, as well as user, when the scope for your organization is limited to user.
Thank you. It is correct.
Yeah, thank you, Jaidi garu. In fact,
Jaidi, 1 minute. Can you also answer the previous question? That is, what was the question? Okay, Murali, please go ahead before I connect with that.
Yeah. So thank you, Jaidi garu. In fact, the reason why I asked that question is, in one of the earlier slides, Gandhi garu did mention about the intended use of a product or a service, which was usually the case with prevailing manufacturing products or services, for that matter, any other electronics and electrical and wide variety of applications. But the unintended use and the ethics surrounding this unintended use, that is coming naturally with this artificial intelligence systems, is something which makes the standard a very interesting dimension, in fact. So from that point of view, I just wanted to touch upon that aspect of whether we are leaning on a particular standard, are we trying to cover a holistic view of all the communities involved into that particular product or service, maybe be it a provider or be it a developer or a user. Yeah. Anyway, you've touched upon in your answer what we need to limit to when we are looking at that particular product or a service on a user-based dimension. Thank you, sir.
Because, for example, ChatGPT, you are using it. So if you are giving your organization for certification of 42,000, then we can't go to the provider and developer of ChatGPT for audits. They may interested or they may not be interested.
Got it, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, yes, Gandhi Garu, you are
No.
telling some previous question. I think I don't recollect that. What was the question? If you are able to put up that, I'll answer definitely.
I think I lost the thread. But thank you, Jaydeep. I very well appreciate for coming forward and answering it from the standpoint from a, I mean, for the uninitiated or unknown, Jaydeep represents DNV, and he is, I think, heading the Hyderabad, and he is mostly into risk management these days. But for more than 30 years, he has been in the audit industry. He knows all the Hyderabad-based companies. They know Jaydeep and they know DNV.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Gandhi ji and Zaidi, can I add something
Please,
to the
please.
question and know what the person asked? So the point, the way, the perspective you approach your risk assessment model.
Yeah.
So if you think that the organization has to consider, even though it is a user organization, it applies, the risk applies to even common software development also. We talk about so much on backdoors, right? Vulnerabilities, which are built by the development organization, which comes to the use and you get exposed. But today, the perspective of risk, right, from the user organization has to change, so that you people start looking at it where something can go wrong, and that is where you can start looking at it, how you are going to address and what type of assessments you are going to do, which the standard talks about as a system impact assessment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is where the user organization or a product organization, provider organization or a development organization, the perspective has to be looked into. So the development guys thinks that they don't worry about how the user is going to, then there is a problem. Similarly, user organization doesn't understand what all can go wrong with the developer, user organization will have a problem. So the perspective of risk has to be considered when you do the risk assessment, and accordingly you can. But from a certification perspective, I think Zaidi made it very clear. It depends on your scope, the boundary you try to fix it, and that is what the certification body will look into it.
Wonderful.
And maybe, Gandhiji, Partha, I know you actually when I was in Hyderabad, and now I'm actually, part of Zaidi's team.
Okay, wonderful. Now you made it very abundantly clear. Let me just add one or two sentences on this. It is not to contradict what you said. What you said exactly is correct. Now, what is risk? Risk is something which can go wrong in achieving my objectives. For ISO 9001 or for 27001, my objectives are very clear. That is within the box. My objectives are to meet the quality that I have set forward, to meet the requirements stated, implicit, regulatory. But when it comes to AI usage, they are not in the box. They are outside the box because it is unintended use, because it is unknown methods of using, because it is what can go wrong. Anything outside the box is also part, it has become part of the objectives. And that is why the risk assessment and risk treatment in these cases will become so much more complex. That is my opinion.
Gandhi Garu, with your permission, I would like to answer a query from Mr. Vijay.
Please.
I was just reading the chat, how much it is relevant to robotics usage in medical service provider like hospitals. Applicability, yes. Is it necessary and service user should also get certified too? It is optional. There is no any regulatory requirement to go as of now. Any regulatory requirement to go for 42,000 certification. It's your willingness and your commitments towards responsible AI. That is why you are going for ISO 42,000 certification. So as such, mandatory as of now, no. Relevant and applicability for that, yes.
Very good. I support that fully. It is not mandatory as of now for any company, unlike HIPAA or other kind of guidelines for US based or other places. Even in those places, it is not mandatory today. It is prescriptive. It will tell you, yes, if you do it good, you have a good stead. And you are, I mean, by going through the certification model, the user or the provider themselves are looking at all the possible risks and they are trying to cover them. Thank you, Jaydev.
Gandhi garu, one question only. Like
Please.
when we are saying user organizations, I did not understand clearly. See, let us say I'm a developing organization or something. I develop a AI product and I sell it. It will go to individuals or either I sell it or distribute. So earlier we do not have user organizations auditing users. You cannot audit users also because daily I am using some AI app. They cannot come to me and say, have you used it properly? Did you use that taken care? So it's a little bit confusion. User organizations terminology. Because for products also we are not using. Like if we buy a brush and all, there is nothing like a toothpaste. There is no user organization. We just audit from the manufacturer and whether if it is following standards, then it is a good quality.
Jaydev sir, if I will answer first and then I will ask you to add.
Correct. Please, sir. Please.
My answer is, let's say you are using discriminative AI. You have some sample and you have trained that model to select from any outside party. Will it belong to this sample or not? Will it be let's say you have correct responses, you have wrong responses. And a new response comes. Is it part of the correct ones or wrong ones? You are using that because the model is given by somebody. It is all developed and you are predefined. You are using it for evaluating answers yourself. Now, sometimes it may be right. Sometimes it may be wrong. When you are doing a neat kind of examination, I mean, I'm not saying they are doing it, just as an example. If you are using it and they decide that your answer is wrong, while in fact it is right, then as a user of UI, you are responsible. Or it is actually wrong, but you have cleared it saying that it is correct. False positive or false negative. Correct. Yeah. Now, Jaydev sir, can you please add?
No, I think you are summed up correctly, Gandhiji. That is the primary intent, that you are using these AI products in a responsible manner, following all the guidelines and regulatory requirements. That's the only intent.
So is it not something like a third party in the software context? We say we use third party software, but we are responsible ultimately.
For usage, only for the usage.
Correct.
Only for the usage part. That's it.
Yeah, correct. Exactly, 100%. Take the example of a bank. If your money is wrongly transferred, you are responsible. It is not the software. TCS has made the software. Somebody has made the software. Yeah. Similarly, as a user, you are using AI to take the decision, and you are generating whatever, or generative or discriminative or whatever. When you do it, you are responsible for that.
Okay. Thanks, Jaydev sir.
Gandhi sir.
This is U.S. Murthy.
Yeah, please go ahead.
In a typical software product, okay, we have some fixed input, and there will be a definite output.
Correct.
Against which some test cases will be developed.
Correct.
Irrespective of the age of the software, it will be similarly giving the same output.
Correct.
That is how the test cases will be this thing. But if that is the case, if you consider this AI product also as a software product, then why a separate, I mean, so if you know definitely, but in case of generative AI, or, if you don't know what it will behave after 4 years of learning, then how are we considering it as a software product? I mean, how even the certification also, how will it help? Like, yes, this I am certifying, this will, after 5 years also, this will continue to behave very well.
Understood,
Something like that.
understood USM. I will explain. I mean, sorry for cutting you short. I
Yeah.
did not, because for the want of time, I
Yes,
understood. Nobody will certify you for 5 years or for several years. That is first thing. Second thing, in the beginning, in the preamble, I mentioned very clearly why 42,001 is required when 9,001 is also there.
Okay.
The point here is, it is learning itself. There are two parts of AI. One is unintended and responsible and ethical use. If anything is unintended use, fake or deep fake or something wrong or wrongly used, still you are providing it, and how do you control that risk? The second part is ethical and responsible use, and when the model is continuously learning based on the input data, the model is learning not only on the initial set of data that you have given to it, but every day by taking more questions and answering them, it is learning from that also. Because you are asking for each question, am I right? Is there anything that you want to correct? Did I do correctly? Then they are giving feedback, you are giving it back to the system. It is relearning, it is improving its learning. How are you monitoring that? How are you testing it? It is not standard set of inputs and outputs. Your inputs are constantly changing because of the training models. Your output is changing because of the new learnings that model is doing. And that is how we have a different model for doing the certification itself. Did I answer your question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Any other questions? I am still okay. Don't think that I am trying to close, but because we said 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I am okay to go up to 6 o'clock also. Because
sir, is there any?
We had a very
Sorry,
nice, beautiful interaction with the parties, and that's why I said, you want to know more, we can. Yes, Jay Prakash.
Sir, are the products that are going to be certified 42,001, or is it the organizations that are going to be certified 42,001?
Organizations are certified, not the products. It is not product quality standard. It is a process quality standard. It is not like ISI.
Okay.
It is like ISO, and ISOs are process quality standards. They certify organizations.
So any organizations already certified, sir? Any major ones which we can know?
One organization that is known to all of us, they claim they are certified, but I don't know.
Can I add here, sir?
Yes, please.
See, as of now, see, there is for a certification body to issue an accredited certificate. There are two types of certificate. One is an accredited certificate, which is stamped by accreditation body, and second certificate is which is issued by certification body, which don't have a stamp of accreditation body. So,
okay, sir.
As of now, no certification body has been given accreditation for issuing ISO 42,000. Because there is a guideline standard for certification body, which is yet to be formally published, which is 42,006. Like 42,001, how you implement the requirement in your organization, in any organization. Similarly, there will be a standard which will be released for certification body, what they need to follow. Like, for example, what should be the competence of an auditor? What should be the mandates when you're conducting an audit? How do you arrive at a mandate? So that guideline standard is called 42,006 in case of 42,000 series. So that is yet to be released. So unless that is released, we as a certification body will not get an accreditation from the accreditation body to issue an accredited certificate. So to answer your question, accredited certificate, no one has got now. Unaccredited certificate, there are many companies who has got, like DNV, BSI issuing their certificate, their own certificates. But accredited certificate, none.
Okay.
Just
okay.
To
so
add,
maybe add-on questions, sir.
Just to add to what Jaydeep said, it is very amply clear. But the certification bodies can use the other auditing standards and the committee draft of the 42,006, and they can give the certificate, but without the stamp of the accreditation body. Because the point is when the IEC said 42,006 is not released, then others will question, how can you do audits? They can do audits because 42,006 is not formally released, but the draft is there. And there are other standards like 19,001, that is the general auditing standard, 27,000. Using these, I think they can audit and they can give a certificate for the based on their own thing.
Correct.
Okay,
That is
sir.
how we all are giving it. Like DNV, BSI, or any other certificates, certification bodies are issuing it based on those guidelines only.
Right. Correct. Thank you.
So
You
one
have
more
some
add-on
follow-up
question.
question? Yeah.
Yeah. My apologies if I am extending it further.
No issue.
So, yeah. So you mentioned that 42,006 is yet to be out. So if after it is released, will there be any changes to 42,001?
No. See, these two are different standards, sir. Like 42,001 is already released, it's already published. That is the standard which an organization like your organization which wants to implement artificial intelligence management system. This 42,006 which I am talking about is for the certification body like
Understood,
DNV,
sir.
BSI, and all. So these two will not have that implementation relevance for
Yes.
for the end organization. It's only for the certification body. Like what is the competence of the auditor, as I
Got
told.
it. Yeah.
What is the mandates you
Yeah.
need to arrive to audit a company based on the risk what you assess. So there will be a lot of such requirements.
The auditing
Okay,
method,
got it.
auditing model, auditing methodology, auditing, that may change, but not the certification standard of 42,001. When you get a certificate, you get a certificate on 42,001, not on the other ones. They
Got
are
it,
only
sir.
used.
Got it. Okay. Recently I've registered myself as a scholar in research scholar in NIT Warangal, and my subject is going to be AI and ML. So this is going to be really useful for me because a lot of stuff is going to be on this, and
Thank
most
you.
of my colleagues also will be working on this, so I can let them know.
Good. Glad to see that the interest is shown by the people. So many questions, so much of understanding. Because I mean, I am also very new. As I said, I am neither an expert in artificial intelligence nor an expert in auditing standards. I am only one of the early birds.
But we learned a lot from this session today, sir.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
So,
Gandhi garu. I think though 2 hours, but we did not feel really. Yeah, it's good. A lot of interaction happened. That's what I see.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any more questions for the day? We are reaching another 5 minutes to 6 o'clock.
I sincerely
Sir, this is Harilanka. Nice session, sir. Got to know so many details. I think one of the important point to make out is testing related, because we predominantly do most of the testing services in our organization. Probably I'll explore the applicability of the standard requirements and then try to improve current testing methodologies. Thank you.
I sincerely thank Jaidi and his colleague for supplementing and adding wherever it was required.
No. It was pleasure, Gandhi garu, to join this call and listen to you as well contribute to this session. It was really nice. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity as well.
Hopefully, I did not make any blatant mistakes.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. You are expert in this area, sir. Of course, the 42,000 may be new, but the management system is there for a long time now.
Correct.
And Gandhi garu, after a long time, I'm seeing you on screen.
On action.
Yes. Because we interacted many times in Heightspin events when I was in Hyderabad. So nice to actually see you again. Maybe I'll continue my touch with you to learn more.
Surely, certainly. Thank you. You are always welcome. Heightspin is a forum for learning. We invite people to come and share their knowledge, and we ask questions. I mean, the advantage with Heightspin is the people who come here, they just come to learn, to come to understand, to come to cross-examine, to understand, to improve their knowledge levels. We may not have 50 to 100 people in sessions, but even the 10, 20 that we have, they are willingly there.
I'm actually Anu's colleague, ex-colleague.
Okay.
We were part of Satyam.
You are only shown a Samsung.
Oh, it's my phone. I logged in my phone because I'm outside.
And your good name, please?
Parthasarathi.
Parthasarathi, okay. Okay.
With the remarks of the participants, let us conclude the day session. Thank you, Gandhi Garu. One noteworthy point is that we wanted to have these monthly sessions every month. We are doing from Jan to August. Imagine, 8 sessions are gone. Very soon we will plan for the annual meet, probably second week of December. Let us meet again in large numbers, and thank you, Gandhi Garu. And
thank you.
Please, whatever is shared by Gandhi Garu is going to publish in our website. Those who missed can always go back and read them and come back.
Yeah, this session is recorded. It will be kept in our YouTube channel, Hidespin YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
So you can always.
In fact, we preponed the week to this week because next week we are going to have a long weekend. Yes. Independence Day, all those things are going to come. Planned 1 week advance so that next week people can go for a long outside weekends. Thank you, Gandhi Garu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you, Prakash. Thank you, Gandhi.
Thank you, team.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Madhavi.
Thank you, Madhavi. You can stop recording and you can close the session.
Great. We have largest gathering today, say 26 or so.
Yes, sir. And so many questions also. People who are very interested, interactive, good to learn, and so much of information added by Jaidi and Partha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. I will call you again later.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.